Hey, buddy, it's your old pal Scott, and it's Let's Talk Tabletop. First off, how was your week? Mm-hmm. To be honest, that does look infected. You should probably get that checked out. How was my week? Well, I got a letter, actually, I got several letters last week when I asked people to write in at let's talk tabletop scott at gmail.com. And I would love it if you would do that. Any questions or comments or anything like that you'd like read on the air. And old buddy of mine from my article days, my podcast days, named Fergie, and one of our Patreon patrons, mind you, he wrote in and said that he would like proof, cold, hard proof, that I can paint a miniature in 30 minutes. All right, Fergie, you put me to the test, and now I've got proof. Now, admittedly, this was an experimental paint job because I didn't know how I really wanted to paint my Troggoth, so I could have maybe gone a little lighter. It ended up being a little bit dark, but I got it done in 32 minutes and some seconds, including basing. Fergie writes, "Hey, look at that. I've made the leap over to the new you. Awesome stuff. I'm looking forward to where this goes. Okay, I'd really like to see a live demo of your painting style, like an actual full 30 minutes of it, not the usual videos where it's all cut and edited. Why? Firstly, because I don't believe you that that big bull thing only took you 30 minutes, and secondly, because I've honestly always struggled with dry brushing. I always ended up overloading the brush and making a mess or not having enough paint and barely applying anything. So, yeah, I'd like to see a so-called dry lighting demo. Keep up the good work, Fergie." There's no cutting or clipping or anything like that, but a 30-minute video of me painting with no music and no commentary would be probably pretty boring. So, what I did instead is I sped it up 4 times. Then you will see what I can accomplish in just 30 minutes. Now, you might want to go a little farther with this once I was all said and done, but I think it's tabletop standard, and I don't think it came out too bad. So, let's dive into it. I was pretty happy with my setup here. I had to try something new. Starting off with Naggaroth Night, which is one of my dark purples that I like. It's basically just a base coat. I am leaving some black available in the deepest of the recesses, but we will end up building higher on this with lighter colors. Still doing purple. Doing more purple. Okay, I don't really have anything else to say here, so I'm just dry brushing. That's all I'm doing. Alright, come on, Scott. You're done with the purple. Nope, I'm not done with the purple. Okay, now you'll notice Naggaroth Night barely even shows up. I put that away, got a cup with some water, and what am I going for? That's Mechanicus Gray is what that is. I love Mechanicus Gray. You know, I painted this club as like made of stone, but I actually think it's wood. But whatever, I painted it stone. You really can't tell. It took me until after I was done. Anyway, that's Mournfang Brown. And you'll see it doesn't take very long at all for me to dry brush brown all over this stuff. I'm leaving black in the recesses. And when you prime black, it will dry darker than when it initially turns on. When you initially cover the area, it will end up turning darker afterwards as the black starts shining through when the brown, almost forgot the staff there. Once the brown or whatever color starts drying. Now that is... Oh, I missed it. I don't know what that is. Is it Genestealer Purple, I think it is? And now you'll see that I'm starting to highlight the purple with a lighter purple. I don't think that's Genestealer Purple. I don't remember what that one is. And unfortunately, my paints aren't with me at the time, so... at this moment. But anyway, you'll slowly start seeing some depth coming into that purple. So you've got black in the darkest depths. But your eye doesn't see it as black, it actually sees it as a super dark purple. Looks like I picked up some Banshee Brown from Vallejo. I was hoping that would be a replacement for Rakarth Flesh, but it's not quite the same. Anyway, that's what I'm doing the color of my skin for my Cruel Boys. I didn't really want to do green because everyone does green, so I'm doing it like a cream color, and then later on I wash it with Agrax Earthshade. My whole deal with these guys is that they live in the swamp, so you'll notice even when I do the basing, it's like this gray, muddy stuff. And right now he's looking like a ghost, but it will change. Once again, leaving black in the deepest recesses, and you'll notice that I put some paint on my brush very, very lightly, and then dry off most of it on the page. And I think I'm just about done there, doing his footsies. Now, these cream colors, such as Rakarth Flesh or Banshee Brown, are great for dry brushing and lightening things. Now I'm going to start doing the underbelly of him. You'll notice that Troggoths often have like a white underneath their armpits and legs, and I'm doing a little bit of that here. Now he's darker than most Troggoths are. Most of them do a very light, like cream and white, cream and blue, but I am going to be applying that, and I think later on I apply more of it to lighten it up further. But that Banshee Brown does awesome on brown. It does it on gray. It's a great highlight. We learned that when doing terrain. It is a fantastic highlight. Now you see his face and everything is starting to lighten up. And when I do another highlight of purple later on, it will show up even better. I can use it on gray. I can use it on brown. And now my whole scheme with these guys is kind of a Halloween theme, so I'll end up doing some orange contrast, I forget what it's called, but Gryph-hound flesh or whatever it's called, and I'll end up doing that on his belt buckle. Is that Xenos purple? I think it is. And now you'll see an even lighter, it's almost a pink. I'm highlighting higher on the top of these scales here. Decided to get out the Mournfang Brown. Oh, Mournfang Brown, and I'm doing the straps. Now, see, they stand out really badly right now, but it's not going to be the case when they dry. They'll dry browner and darker. So he's starting to come along. Now what am I grabbing? I've got my old Leadbelcher. I love Leadbelchers. The best silver anybody ever makes. It's a base color. It's thick. You only need one coat, and it shines real nice. It's a fantastic. Don't ever use that mithril silver crap, because that's for losers. And just seriously one coat on all this metal, and it looks fantastic already. What do we got now? Oh, that's when I spilled I spilled the silver on my hands. And I was trying to wipe it. Now my hands are all sticky with silver. Now that is the orange contrast over top of that. And I just wanted them to look like pumpkins because these guys are kind of like spooky and Halloween themed. So I just wanted their bellies to look like pumpkins, so that's why I'm doing that with the whole army. Now I just picked up some Caliban green, and that is the cloth color for my army. So it's a real dark green, and I don't usually even highlight it, because the problem with light skin, like these light-skinned orcs, is that if you make them really bright colors, their clothing, it really doesn't emphasize their light skin, and I really want them to be like ghastly looking. So the entire paint scheme is super dark with dark browns, dark greens, and all of that. Even my Warplock bronze that I use on his armor and stuff, you'll see that here soon. All of it's dark to accentuate the big pumpkin-looking buckler that he's got, or the belt buckle, and his pale skin. I just want them to be very dark and nasty looking. There's the Warplock bronze. And Warplock bronze is really good. It doesn't show up super well because it's such a dark gold, but I like it. And when you see it in person, it actually shows up okay. But once again, you'll see how his skin stands out so strongly and his belt buckle stands out so strongly because everything else is so dark around him. Which was one of the reasons why I didn't want to make the Troggoth light colored, because the Troggoth shouldn't take away from the rider. So the Troggoth is slightly lighter. Oh, there's more Banshee Brown highlighting stuff some more. And there's more Mechanicus Gray. And I'm doing the cloth around his neck, I mean the fur. And then what do? We've got some Agrax Earthshade. Now I'm going to start doing his skin. And here's a trick nobody seems to know, is that when you're washing and you put too much wash on, just take your finger and smudge it, and it will highlight all the ridges, and it will keep it in all the lower areas. So, I do that all the time. It's a little messy, but, I mean, I already have Leadbelcher all over my hands, so I can't be more messy than this. Now, it looks like I'm going to be highlighting this even more, now that it's dried. And I just keep highlighting it as it dries, because when it dries it gets darker, so I don't want to overdo it. And now it's starting to come together. Oh, more Banshee Brown. What am I doing now? Oh, I'm trying to find something to highlight. I did a little bit on green. Yes, you can even do Banshee Brown on green. And then the little trinkets on his pelvis. Oh, more Caliban green. Okay, so Caliban Green is like the Nagaroth Night. It's a very dark color, and when you're painting it on black, it like almost goes away completely. So if I want to keep that green color and have it impact your eyes when you're looking at it, I have to usually do 2 coats. And now here I am cheating with the basing, which this is the basing I'm using for this army. Every one of my armies is based differently. And this is a Vallejo technical, and I didn't like how fine the sand was, so I actually added more sand to it to make it grittier. There you go. So there you have it. Painted to a perfectly fine tabletop standard in 32 minutes, including the basing. I might have cheated on the basing a little bit because it is a technical paint from Vallejo, whatever it's called, but I like how he came out. Anyway, the Gorgon has actually fewer details than this, so I'm sure I was able to do that in 30 minutes. It was big, broad areas that you just dry brush. You'll notice this has quite a bit of detail on it, so I had to be a little more careful, but hopefully I've proved my point, and it's dry lighting. That's all it is. Anyway, thank you for watching, and be sure to comment down below, subscribe, and share, and like, and all that stuff, because I'm trying to build this channel. I want it to be, you know, friendly and welcoming and all of that, and hopefully growing the channel, we can get more people into it. The algorithm loves that you interact with the video, so please do that. And if you have any questions, comments, anything, email me at letstalktabletopscott@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys next week.